All right, today we had a fantastic episode. We had Mike Letchliter on with Pooper Scooper Pros.
I think it was Leckliter.
Lechliter.
Yeah, I forgot.
Close. No.
Yeah, he'll clarify when he gets into it.
But anyways, this is the Pooper Scooper. He handles the dookie, handles the poopy, handles that duty butter baby. Great episode. Gave us a lot of education on the harmful effects of leaving your dog poop in your lawn or, as Scott likes to do, his neighbor's lawn.
Yeah, pick it up, people.
Pick it up.
I've changed paths. Pick it up.
He's a new man, everyone. But Pooper Scooper Pros is a company based out of Buffalo that will come to your home and pick up your poopy. They offer a bunch of different packages from daily, weekly, you name it. Obviously discounts depending on what level of cleanup you need. So, hit him up if you're in the Buffalo area. Highly recommended. He's a pro. I mean, the man sanitizes his equipment after picking up to not spread diseases because it's serious. So get your poopy cleaned today,
Pick it up, baby. That's amazing.
The dogs.
Is that even a real story?
That's a fact.
This is complete nonsense, Greg.
Read a book.
I guess you are kind of artistic.
Incredible.
What are you even talking about, man?
Go for broke.
I don't even know what that means. Let's get it going.
Let's get her going. Keep her going, baby. Card.
Greg, what's up, brother?
Not too much, my man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to be back in the studio. So we have another guest on today. Are you excited, Greg?
You betcha.
You betcha. We have Mike. And Mike, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. It looks like Letchliter. Is that?
Pretty close. It's a Lechliter.
Lechliter. Okay.
Yep.
Where? What? I guess
What
back.
nationality
Yeah. What
is
is that?
It's German.
What do you think?
All
What do you
right.
think Gregory Wagner is?
That sounds pretty German too.
Yeah.
The ER, you know.
Yeah.
We've covered that in a couple podcasts prior, but thanks for coming on, brother. We're excited to talk about a lot of things today, but more importantly, I think the environmental and health factors when it comes to picking up dog poop. But Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit about your business and also where you come from?
Yeah, where you're from and what do you do?
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. I'm
course.
originally from Elmira, New York.
All right.
I grew up there my whole life. So my parents still are. I got a bunch of family back there. It's like a couple hours east, kind of near Corning there. And
Yep.
I went to University at Buffalo from 2011 and graduated in 15. And just kind of decided Buffalo was the city for me. I just like the people, and there's a lot more opportunity here. And I worked a bunch of different jobs, all different variety of businesses and stuff out there, and just decided I couldn't really work for anybody and just kind of wanted to start my own thing. So
Pretty
that's
common,
how I
I
got
think.
started with this.
That's awesome. I'm actually an Orchard Park native, so I grew up in Orchard Park and moved to Rochester because I liked it better.
There you go.
There you go. So, being a graduate of UB, it's a huge school. I mean, I'm sure you had a lot of opportunity. Buffalo's a bigger city than Rochester. What made you get into? Actually, before I, bring this question up, why don't you leeway into how you decided to start this company or join this company?
Tell us about the company first. How about that?
Exactly.
Well, the name of the company is Pooper Scooper Pros, and right now we focus on just poop scooping, like just in the name. So basically most of our customers sign up for a weekly or bi-weekly package where I come by and pick up the poop, and depending on how many dogs you have and how often you want the service, you can get pretty good deals there. And then there's also single packages. So say you wanted to clean up your yard or something for graduation and whatnot, you can do that. And even have services up to a few times a week, because some puppies at first start to eat their poop, and that's the last thing you would want.
Yep.
the dog have. Yeah,
Hey,
so
the good old recycle.
Hey, they'll put you out of business, man, if they're just eating their own poop.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but most people, don't want that in their dog's mouths there. So
I agree, man.
Nothing like a good puppy kiss that's full of poopy.
yeah, I'm sure we all have gotten those unknowingly.
Absolutely. Now, it's funny because, one of the reasons I think we were interested in bringing you on, and, you showed interest in talking about the environmental factors and things like that, but I used to never pick up dog poop, ever. I
was like against my religion.
Yeah, I used to just let them shit all over my neighbors' yards and not care, and never really understood why it was necessary to pick it up,
Right.
But yeah, tell us about how you got started, because realistically, you said you've been, after graduating UB, you had a few ideas. You went through a couple different businesses, but what made you start this company? I mean, did you see a gap in the... Greg's looking at me like I'm crazy.
He's trying to sound smart. He's such a pea brain. It's not even funny. So how'd you get started?
Yeah, I mean, I know there's definitely some other businesses around here that do it, but I didn't see them have any presence on social media or anything, so I figured I'd take a shot myself and figured I could find a place in the market. And I've been working with a lot of other companies in Buffalo who are just like entrepreneurs like myself, and the word of mouth is definitely the best form of marketing in Buffalo, and it's been going really well.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing that's pretty evident in Buffalo. If you live there, they take care of you. Like
Definitely.
That's a really nice aspect of Buffalo.
Hometown feel.
It's got
Right, a giant hometown.
So what made you, outside of college, what made you move to Buffalo? Elmira, for those who are listening, it's a super small town, but what made you transition over there? What kind of drew you in?
I just had a really great time in college. I went to the same frat my brother had joined, so I got that whole experience and made a lot of good connections still to this day. A lot of frat brothers are my friends and everything. Maybe some of them will be listening to this, and shout out to you guys. And yeah, it was just a really good time there. And everyone in Buffalo is just like you said, super friendly. It's just like kind of like my hometown feel, but there's so much more to do here and so much more opportunity. And just compared to my town, this is like huge for me. And I mean, I've been to New York City a bunch and everything, and that is just like way too big. I think Buffalo is like a nice medium.
Yeah, no, it sounds cool, man. So how's the business going though? I looked at the website; it looks great. Like I said, I literally have never picked up dog poop before, and honestly, I mowed my lawn today and just mowed through a bunch of dog shit, thinking it's gonna fertilize my backyard. But now that I did a little bit of research, I know that that's not the case. Dog poop's a little bit different than manure, the way I was thinking of it in quotations. But how are things going?
Yeah, things are going really good. Yeah, like you said, if you don't take care of it, it can like really kind of just leave burn marks in your lawn. It's just thick, heavy substance. Your grass isn't meant to take on that much amount of like feces at once. Like it can help your grass, but too much, it just eats away at it, and that's the last thing you want. And a lot of people who get landscaping done, a lot of them won't even mow your lawn unless the dog poop's picked up. So it's another reason, I need to stay on top of it.
I didn't realize that. And my neighbors get their lawns mowed all the time by a couple different landscaping companies, and they have dogs, so they must pick their dog poop up a little bit. But like I said today, I mean, I never pick mine up, and I'm going to start changing and, figuring out a way to pick that up more regularly. But what is it about dog poop that is, different than maybe a cow taking a shit in a pasture? I mean, is it that it's like too acidic? Is it just different? Is there too much corn in it? What is it?
Yeah, it's just really acidic for the grass and what the grass can really take. It's not like it's completely different than just putting a fertilizer or something like that on your lawn, because that's so much more spread out and much more controlled in such a small amount. But yeah, for just like your basic grass, it's just way too intense and acidic for it to be able to handle that.
No, that makes sense.
I've got a hilarious poop story. So something weird happened this year where it snowed like right after the leaves fell. So a lot of people couldn't pick up their leaves before winter. So a lot of the leaf cleanup happened during the spring. And now when I walk my dog, most of the time in the morning, I'm like on my way to work. So I'm usually in like a suit. So I'm not gonna lie. There's been a few 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe many piles of poop that I have not picked up on these morning walks, and it's like in the snow. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna tromp.
Yeah,
I
think we've all done it. You know,
yeah, everyone's done it. You're a liar if you say you haven't.
Exactly.
And I'm like, whatever. I'll pick this up in the spring. So spring rolls around, and I haven't quite got to it. And I'm taking my dog for a walk, and it's like a couple neighbors down. They're getting their leaves cleaned up by this professional like leaf cleaning crew. And I walk by, and these are some rough looking guys, but I'm walking by with my dog, and he goes, it's a big ass dog. He takes some big ass shits because he's been cleaning up the leaves that my dog's shit has been in for like all winter. And I was just like, oh, like, you're creepy. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Better believe it, man.
He's like, that wasn't in the job description.
Yep. Sorry about the dookie and your leaves, bud. Probably should have chose a different profession other than leaf cleanup then.
Hey, it's part of the job.
Yeah, some dogs can really pack in a whole lawn in just a week. Some of my customers, it's crazy how fast that fills up. You wouldn't believe it.
Oh, yeah, there was dookie all over the neighborhood from him. I felt kind of bad. I did clean it up after a while. He would like poop, and I would like bring like 4 or 5 bags with me and like clean up one pile and clean up like 2 or 3 like close
there
to
you
it,
go.
and then like eventually it all got cleaned
slowly.
up.
Yeah, see, I never do that. But I've got to imagine if you have
Scott
like
doesn't pick up poop at all.
Well, I'm gonna start
even
now.
on walks.
But I gotta imagine if you have like a Great Dane or Saint Bernard and you live in a small home with a small front yard, you are just I like the whole block has to be wrecked by that smell, right?
Oh my god, yeah. Actually, I've got a pretty funny
if you
story.
don't take care of it, for sure.
Growing up, one of my neighbors down the road had like you said, like a giant Saint Bernard, and they would never clean up the poop from their front yard. And you would walk or you'd like ride your bike by this house and almost fall down because it was just so terrible.
Yeah, oh god, those things eat like 8 cups of food a day, so you can only imagine.
All right, well, I want to transition into. I have a quick story about one of our friends. They just got a new puppy maybe 6 months ago. And they didn't have any of the shots that they needed to get. They thought they would be able to, have a little bit of downtime for a week before they got some of those shots. And they brought it over to their family's house to hang out with their dog, tried to avoid any sort of, health hazards or whatever it may be. But the dog ended up getting parvo. And I don't necessarily know what parvo is, but I think the cause was because the dog was basically playing in the yard with some poop around it. Is that something that can happen?
Yeah, definitely a lot of... Yeah, that's why you don't want one dog to be in another dog's feces like that because for that reason, all the different parasites and bacteria can spread from one yard to another. So that's why actually I have like a 30-in-1 like bleach wash I use on my tools and shoes and like everything in between every scoop for that reason, just so it like never spreads. You know what I mean? So that's like very like true and definitely a reason you should keep your yard scooped, especially if you're going to have other dogs in your yard. You're definitely putting them at risk.
Yeah, I was worried. I was like, the only thing you think about though is like, hey, maybe your little puppy, because you're not bringing them anywhere crazy. Maybe your little puppy was just playing in poop.
Yeah.
And then my mind, I was mowing my lawn today, like I said, but my mind immediately goes into like wherever, like up into the clouds. But I was like, what if a fly, because you have shit in your yard, fucking eats that dog poop? And there's poop all over. The fly flies into your house, and then out of nowhere,
into your mouth.
Not into your mouth. No, but like, say you're cooking a pie, like a traditional movie scene. There's a pie on the windowsill.
Pies anymore?
Nobody cooks pies, man. Nobody fucking cooks pies. But you have the pie on the windowsill. This fly comes up, hangs out on the pie for a little bit after it just ate a nice little poo meal, and then you're gonna get parvo as a human. I know that's not possible, but that's the kind of stuff I think about. And it's like, what the hell, man?
Yeah, flies are gross, man.
Pick up the poop. Pick up the poop. But from another environmental standpoint, I mean, are there any actual laws? I have no idea. I mean, I've seen signs on the side of the road saying, "Hey, pick your dog's poop up because our kids are playing here." Are there any laws that actually apply to this, or is it people just putting signs in their front yard because they want you to pick up shit?
You know what? I'm not sure if there's any laws around here like that, but I bet you it's kind of like a town by town thing. I'm sure some places pass some kind of rules and stuff, but yeah, I mean, I would see. I just think it's just an easy thing to do. Just have a bag on you, and like nobody wants to have another dog's poop on their yard and in your yard or step on it or something. So,
Right.
it's just such a simple thing to really.
Yeah, and I know, like in my town, even I was reading up on the laws, and like it's like illegal to have your dog poop in someone's lawn and leave it there. But I found out that it's even illegal to leave poop in your own lawn,
Oh, really? That's
which was
interesting.
shocking to me because I thought this was America and I could do whatever I want, but apparently not. So I was a little taken back by that. So I leave poop in my lawn out of principle.
Oh my god!
I'm kidding. I clean it up.
I read an article earlier in the week about if you're going to visit China, you better be prepared to see some shit you weren't prepared to see. So I don't know if it's necessarily in like Beijing, like downtown Beijing. I know it's a massive.
Let's just go with that.
Well, I think it's
Name
more
one other province in China.
China, Shanghai.
You win. I couldn't.
But yeah, I think it's more a little bit on the suburbs. But basically, I'm pretty sure like little children who are just walking through these malls in the suburbs, they just fucking whip their ass out and take shits all over the place. In the street, in malls, anywhere public.
So it's just like they're puppies.
No, I'm serious. I'm
Oh
not
my
even joking. I was reading this article, and I think it was like a travel blogger or something like that, and they were saying how everywhere there's just like 7, 8-year-old kids popping a squat right in the middle of the road, and I'm like, what the fuck is that?
It's just when you thought San Fran was bad, right?
Right?
Oh my god, bum city. Well, in San Francisco, you have bums with bum dogs taking shits everywhere. It's a mix, man.
Yeah.
God.
Have you heard about the like poop GPS they have there to like poop free paths they have? So you know how to avoid it.
No.
Oh my god, it's like you can get like an app, and
Yeah.
you look at the app, and if you're walking down like whatever the main avenue is in San Francisco, it'll have a little like star in all the areas that a bum is taking a shit on the road that day.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Awesome.
It's
Yeah,
so
no, it's
good.
funny. It reminds me of a story. I was in Jamaica and we're like cruising around and they tell you like don't leave the tourist spots. It's like super dangerous. So of course we did. Like obviously. We're walking by this bum and he's just passed out on the street and he's just got a shit in a plate sitting next to him.
Oh my
Just shit in a
God.
plate.
He's saving it for later, bro.
It's recycling.
Mike, I know you and I talked about it a little bit earlier, but the Environmental Protection Agency, I know you said that they actually classified dog poop as like a serious chemical. I mean, what's up with that? Is it classified as like, I don't know.
Yeah, the same danger as an oil spill, apparently.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so you think about BP, monster oil spill. Imagine if that was all dog shit. Would it be like equivalent?
Yeah, that's basically what it's saying.
You know, it's really funny. I think Scott and I just had the exact same image in our minds. Just like an ocean and a beach full of dog poop.
That's what I was thinking. That sounds way worse than oil, honestly. Just give me the oil, man.
Do you guys do you guys remember the scene from Wedding Crashers where Bradley Cooper is talking about how he saved the seal from the oil ocean and he's like blowing his nose? He's like, and then
It wasn't Bradley Cooper, but yeah, I remember that.
yeah, it was Bradley Cooper in that. Absolutely. Either way, no.
You're wrong.
Imagine if that seal was covered in shit. Is the point?
Oh my god!
Yeah, that's be disgusting.
All right. Well, sorry, we got a little bit off topic there, Mike.
That's pretty funny. I'm having fun, man.
Is there any? I mean, realistically, I think about. I just recently moved out of. We live in Rochester. I just moved out of the city about a year ago into the suburbs, or I guess on the city outskirts. But there's a lot of deer, rabbits, all sorts of animals now that cruise through my backyard, front yard, all over the place. I mean, is there a difference between the amount of shit or the type of poop or droppings that like deer leave as opposed to dogs?
I mean, I'm pretty sure deer leave like a bunch of little turds or kind of like rabbits, I believe. So you definitely know the difference.
Mm-hmm.
But Yeah, I mean, Buffalo don't really have to worry about that. Yeah, I guess in the suburbs you get more of the deer, but yeah, I guess it probably wouldn't be as frequent. I'd say unless there was like a serious, you had like a big deer path through your yard or something. I guess you wouldn't really have to worry about it too much.
So okay, so I guess we should have clarified earlier. You're literally downtown Buffalo?
I'm in like North Buffalo, so I'm still in the city. But yeah, it's just like small yards fenced in. We got a
Yeah.
bunch of rabbits. That's about as
Gotcha.
wilderness as it gets in the Buffalo here. But I do a lot of my customers are on the outskirts. Like I serve all around Buffalo, like Amherst and Williamsville and such. So those get more deer and animals like that out there.
Do you ever get calls where people literally are like, "Hey, come pick up the poop in my yard," and then you go there and it's downtown and you're just scooping shit off of a sidewalk?
Oh my god.
One yard's like near my house, and it's like half kind of pavement and like more yard, but a little bit gets on the. Sometimes they do go on the driveway if they use like all the real estate. Like my dog will do that too because I have a pretty small backyard, and he's a pretty big boy, like 90 pounds, and he'll go on my driveway if the poop space is occupied in the rest of the yard.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, no, one of my neighbors has like a little tiny dog, like a little
A Shih Tzu, a
no,
little Shih Tzu,
tiny
Bichon, Chihuahua, miniature.
terrier, teacup terrier.
Oh god, it's not
But
even a real
anyways,
dog.
I like take my dog for a walk, and I'm kind of walking behind this dog, and I watch this dog just squat and poop right on the sidewalk. I was like, bro, what are you doing? You could have taken like 3 steps and pooped in the grass like a normal dog.
With those tiny dogs, man, it's like when they step into the grass, it's like they're walking through a goddamn like forest. You know, they're like, "Oh my god, I'm lost."
Just like weeds up your neck.
Yeah. But Mike, hey, tell us about your dog. I totally forgot to ask in the beginning. I know you just mentioned that he's a big 90-pound dog, but tell us a little bit about him or her.
Yeah, he's actually a pot cake. He's from the Bahamas, and he's a rescue.
Say that again. What the fuck's a pop cake?
That's what everybody says. Pot cake, like POT space cake, CAKE. Yeah.
Are you making this up?
Yeah, I feel like this is a.
No, I'm really not. You can like Google it and check it out.
How much pot cake did you have before you made this dog up?
Just a couple, couple of them. No.
couple 2 or 3.
But yeah, basically they're just mutts of the Bahamas, like mixed breeds of all different dogs that basically came off ships and things throughout the years. So they're actually really healthy though because they are such like a mix of genotypes that they are just really healthy dogs.
They somehow brat out a lot of the health issues, it seems like. But the pictures,
Yeah.
Greg, I just brought it up on Google. The pictures Greg and I are looking at right now, it doesn't look like a very big dog, though.
Yeah, it's funny. Like most of them are smaller, like 45 to like 70 max. They said he was going to be 45 pounds. He had literally double that size.
Holy crap, man.
Yeah, it looks. Every picture we see is super adorable. It looks like a mutt, but like
It definitely
way
looks like a
cuter.
mutt, but yeah. Very.
We actually found out like he has some sled dog in him. I'm trying to think of exactly what it was, but it looked just like the picture, and it makes so much sense because whenever he walks, like we've even tried to like train him, he just wants to pull. Like he loves to pull. It's like a workout for him. He just like enjoys it, you know. It's like he's like insanely just aggressively wants to pull and uses like muscles to work out basically.
You should hop on a skateboard and let him pull you.
Yeah, I
around.
know, right? I want to do that, or maybe in the bike.
Maybe rollerblades. That's probably the safest, right?
Yeah,
No.
I don't trust him though. He's too young. He'll probably take me flying.
Rollerblades? Absolutely not. That's.
not?
I mean, skateboard and rollerblades
Dude,
are obviously.
rollerblading is like the easiest thing to do.
Biking is the best for sure
No,
because you
dude.
can use your brakes, man.
Dude, I just always picture myself like biking with my dog just putting the brakes on, and me just like flipping over the handlebars.
I feel like my dog would do that.
Well, hey, you want some Adderall so you can pay attention, bro? I mean, all you have to do is use the brakes with one hand, hold the dog leash in the other hand.
I don't know.
You used to do it all
I think
the time.
rollerblading, you'd look like you're special.
You
Plus-
just suggested that was the easiest.
I don't know, man.
Oh man.
Yo, all right. So, have you seen either of you? Have you seen the 2004 movie Envy? with Jack Black?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh,
I
man.
have.
So
Actually, I have. Yes,
So
it's
Jack-
a terrible movie.
Horrible.
One of the worst movies ever made.
Debatable. Debatable.
Okay.
Debatable.
Very relatable to this.
Anyways,
topic,
Jack Black, the main character, creates a product that is called Vaporize.
Vaporize.
And apparently, it's just an aerosol can that you spray on poop, and the poop just disappears. Are there any threats in your market to a product like that coming out?
Yeah, I mean that is actually almost in the making. No, I'm just
What?
kidding. No, I'm not. There's no. I haven't heard of anything like that. But that'd be pretty. Maybe I'll have to look into creating something like that.
Let me clarify a little bit. I mean, I could see something coming out where you like spray it on dog shit and it breaks it down, exponentially
Faster?
quicker. Yeah. But in this movie, you spray the aerosol can on the poop and then it disappears into another dimension and then reappears like in your backyard or something like that. I can't remember how the movie ends.
I don't remember how it works. I think it ends very tragically. Like all the poop just rains down on people's heads.
So I know that's not going to happen.
I
But
highly recommend watching it.
I would
Yeah,
highly
maybe if Elon Musk goes into the poop scoop business, I'll have to worry about that.
Yeah, dude.
perhaps, man.
Let's
We can just
I'll hit him up. I'll get him on that.
ship it all to the moon,
Yeah, dude.
bud.
Like enough saving the entire planet with electricity and batteries. Just we're gonna put you, and we need you to make Vaporize. Like, just do it. He'd be down. And I just have to say, I'm pretty sure Scott was chewing gum and then just put it on the table, which is really disgusting. He's a savage animal.
Saving it for later. All right, so one thing I wanted to get into, just because Leah and I, my fiance, and I'm sure Greg and his girlfriend Danelle are thinking about having kids at some point out of wedlock because he's savage. But
Best mistake I'll ever have.
what type of and Mike, if you know, if not, we can kind of like talk through it. But what type of diseases or whatever comes from this dog poop is something we should worry about when it comes to like if you had kids hanging out in the front yard outside of dogs?
Well, I don't know the diseases exactly, but I can give you some of the dangerous bacterias and I guess these kind of are diseases like salmonella, roundworms, tapeworms, like you said, parvo, giardia, and E. coli. So, yeah, all things kind of people have heard about. Basically, like bacteria type illnesses you could totally get from ingesting or this dog poop by accident somehow.
Man, that's scary though. It makes sense now that we've seen those signs where it says, "Hey, children at play, don't leave your dog poop around."
Yeah, definitely.
The scary part is that I have two dogs. One dog is a pit bull lab mix. She's 8 years old right now, but our younger dog, he's 6. He's just a purebred lab. He's an English lab, but every year he seems to get this like allergy and like skin irritation, and I don't know if it's because he's very like laid back. He'll go like out into the yard and just lay and roll around in the grass and shit, and we think it's cute, but maybe it's because he's laying in poop. I don't know. It could be because he's always in the water as well, but I think it's something maybe I should think about a little bit more.
Yeah, I've actually read when dogs like roll around, they're trying to pick up some scent that's on the ground and like get it on themselves. So whatever that is.
That makes sense. I mean, my freaking dog Leah, she has killed multiple small rodents in her past, and I think one of the reasons she, like you just said, rolls around and shit on the ground is because she's either trying to cover her scent in like deer poop or rabbit poop or something, so she can sneak up on those fucking rabbits and snatch them up.
Oh yeah, oh my god, my dog Bear, he's always trying to get the rabbits. He'll like launch off my deck, just off the stairs completely, like 15 feet, and just like go at them.
Hell yeah, it's like you're in the I don't know what the competition's called, where they have like German short-haired pointers and other dogs
Dock jumping, yeah,
and they're jumping like 40 feet. You're like,
Yeah,
what the hell?
Yeah, I'm like, wow, maybe you should like do this. When I see him jump, I'm like, wow.
That's funny.
Incredible.
That's awesome though, because Utley, the dog that I just mentioned, he's definitely a little bit overweight. He's not terribly overweight, but we had like 5 or 6 steps off of our back deck in my previous house, and he literally would jump off there and just barely clear at the bottom stair. So he should definitely not be partaking in those type of competitions. But
that's good.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Pooper Scooper Pros. Mike, as you know by listening to the first half of the podcast, is a good dude. He picks up poop. He's environmentally conscious, and he's worried about the health risks that your kids are going to be running into. So if you live in Western New York, give him a call, but he does a lot of poop scooping. They're very, very good at being on point when it comes to day before calls, whether it's a graduation party or anything like that. Call them up. They're going to do it. In addition to that, if you're asking yourself why scoop, you have to understand that 40% of people in the United States have dogs. That's a lot of doo-doo, baby. So give him a call. Give yourself more time to enjoy your pet. Think about what's actually happening after that poop goes down into the ground, into the water you're drinking at your house.
It doesn't disappear.
Enjoy your yard again. Don't worry about it. Sometimes dog waste accumulates in your yard. It's a health hazard, but let's get rid of it. Call Mike up, Pooper Scooper Pros. He's the man. If you want to find him, if you live in Western New York, call him, find him. It's pooperscooperpros.net, or you can find him on Instagram at pooperscooperpros. All right, so one other thing I wanted to kind of dig into a little bit is I was actually thinking about where I grew up. I grew up in Skinny Atlas, New York. Do you know where that is?
It's the armpit of the country. if you don't know.
Is it like I don't know where exactly, like near the city, kind of?
It's over near like Syracuse, but either way.
Oh, right, okay.
Either way, it's one of the Finger Lakes. I'm gonna educate y'all on the Finger Lakes.
I love the Finger Lakes, man.
Yeah, there's 11 Finger Lakes in upstate New York. They're all spring fed, meaning the water's coming up from underneath.
That's not true.
All of them are.
No.
Okay, educate me, Greg.
I'm just gonna say that's a false.
Okay,
fact.
Greg's just trying to. God damn it. They're all spring fed.
Debatable.
But Skinny Atlas, where I grew up, it's a 17-mile long lake. They're all formed by glaciers. In particular, in my town, the shape of the topography of the town is very downhill towards the front of the lake where the inlet is. So I just pictured if people in this town, and we have a good mix of farmers. There's a lot of great white wine wineries there, but there's a lot of farmers as well, which means there's a lot of poop up there, a lot of fertilizer and all that kind of stuff. But then if people aren't picking up their dog shit, if that stuff comes downhill into the lake, that could be like problematic for a lot of the people, because the lake actually pumps 40 million gallons of water to Syracuse, the city of Syracuse, every single day.
Oh, wow.
So if you had like an abundance of dog shit all over the place running into that lake, I feel like it could be an issue. I'm just honestly being like devil's advocate, because I don't think that could actually happen unless you had billions of dogs. But
I mean, that makes sense on why Syracuse is just full of dummies. They've just been drinking all the poop water.
Perhaps.
I mean, I feel like that's how the apocalypse can start. Full blown zombie apocalypse, because everyone's drinking dog poop water.
Tons of that, man. All right, so from an environmental and health standpoint, I mean, what would you recommend? I mean, do you say, obviously, I know from a business standpoint, you're going to say, hey, people hire me because I'm going to come pick up the poop. But I mean, what else would you say in regards to that?
In regards to the environment.
Just so like, what would you say to people if you had one thing to say about picking up poop and the reason why?
Oh, just like, you don't want the worst case scenario, you get one of those diseases, or one of your kids gets it, or somebody visiting, and, you just keep the smell out of your yard, you don't keep your grass healthy and everything. It's just kind of like wins all around if you do it like at least weekly,
No, that makes total sense, man. Makes total sense. Before we wrap up, I just wanted to bring up one thing that I read the other day, and I'm not a scientist. Greg, are you a scientist?
Yes.
All right. Mike, are you a scientist?
I'm not.
Yeah. So one thing I read, and I just wanted to kind of wrap it up with this before we got done. It seems like the decaying process of poop, and again, I read this, I'm not a scientist, it depletes the level of oxygen when it goes into water. So referring back to the potential Skinny Atlas Lake issue, when that happens, the oxygen is basically essential for like underwater grasses and fish and all that kind of stuff. So if all the poop were to fall into that, who knows what could happen? I mean, Greg knows.
Apocalypse now.
The bottled water industry would definitely take a spike in production.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that as well. I think we've talked about it a little bit before too. I mean, honestly, that could be an issue because the Great Lakes and the Finger Lakes, but the Great Lakes in general, actually, I think it's about 80% of the fresh water in the entire world are in the Great
might
Lakes.
Be true, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, and Lake Erie is kind of gross because basically of just all like the industry from Buffalo and all surrounding was just like dumping into that lake forever back in the day. So
it's gross.
It's even tainted, you know.
Yeah, but it's gross around the borders. But when you look at the actual the entire lake as a whole, it's actually very clean, and that's how you can filter fresh water to all over the world. I mean, other than that, it's literally out of like the Arctic, Iceland, like places like that where you can actually get fresh water. I mean,
right.
We've all seen Waterboy where he fucking passes out or gets hit at the end of the game, and she brings him the Arctic, Iceland water, the Alaskan water, and it
always stays cold.
He kips up out of it. Yeah, it's cold forever.
The Waterboy water.
Yep. All right. So the way that I'm going to wrap this up, and the stuff that I took from this talk, is that avoid having your dog take a shit in the yard because it's going to smell awful. The odor's going to be bad, but there's also the bacterial growth, potential disease-carrying insects like flies, neighbors that hate you because your house smells like shit. You don't want to endanger the health of your kids. You don't want your kids going out there and playing in poop, obviously.
Duh.
You don't want to.
Maybe you do.
Maybe you do. I mean, if you're
what's wrong with a little poop fight?
If you're a trailer park person, go ahead, Greg. If you're gonna leave it out there, you might pollute the ground and then inevitably the runoff, the water. But I think what we started off with is you don't want to ruin the appearance of your property unless you're a trash person. So like if you have too much if you have too much poop out in your yard, it's just gonna look like shit. So. That's kind of what I took from this talk. Do you have anything to add?
Mike?
Either of you guys.
I think pretty much wrapped it up. Yeah, just something you just want to keep out of your yard weekly because, don't spread it to yourself, your kids. You don't want to get sick there.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yep.
All right, so Mike, we're going to wrap this up. Tell me or tell everybody, where can they find your company? Do you have any social media? What's the word?
Yep, you can follow me on Instagram. It's Pooper Scooper Pros, at Pooper Scooper Pros. Same with Facebook. You can find me on there at Pooper Scooper Pros. And I also have a website, pooperscooperpros.net. It's PROS.net. And you guys can check me out there and check out the packages, and I post on social media different things, have some different colleagues and partners around Buffalo so you can see what it's all about.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, brother. And if you guys live in the Buffalo/Western New York area, check him out. If you got shit laying around, fucking have Mike come pick it up. He's your guy.
I'd love to do it.
Love to do it. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dog Fam. Great episode. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Greg.
Thanks
Scott.
a bunch.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Greg. Thanks,
Mike.
Baby. But, hey, if you want to follow us, go on Twitter, Barkology Pod. Everywhere else, iHeartRadio, Apple, Instagram, Facebook, Barkology Podcast. Spotify, YouTube, Barkology Podcast. But we've started a couple new things. We have our good coworker, Megan, now. Running up
intern/marketing media director. What's up, Megan?
What's up, Megan?
Shout out.
But yeah, she's been doing Dog of the Week on the Instagram, as well as we just started a Q&A because we're going to do a partnership with Lollipop Farms in Rochester. So send her pictures of your dog.
Lollipop.
Sorry. Yeah, it's good. But if you have a dog, whether it's a Shih Tzu, a Lab, a German Shepherd,
a pot cake.
Your hand covered in peanut butter. Whatever. The pot cake. Yeah, that Bahamas mixed breed dog.
He made that up.
I thought he was eating pot cakes the whole time. But either way, send us pictures, whether it's in our inbox or commenting on any of our Instagram posts. Send us pictures. We'll feature you in the Dog of the Week. Also, if you have questions, we will answer them regarding this upcoming partnership with Lollipop Farm. Send those to the inbox, whether it's about Greg and I, if you want to know what we do in our spare time, or if it's just about dogs in
Don't
general.
ask that.
And honestly, with Lollipop Farm, if it's about adopting dogs, that's probably the best thing you want to do. We're to be live there. But do it. And again, we love you guys, dog fam. You can find us again at Barkology Podcast. But if you want some of the gear, the wag swag, go to itemorder.barkology.com. Get the stickers, get the gear, get the sweatpants, get the shirts, get all that good shit. Right, Greg?
Yeah, we know you dirty dog people like them sweatpants, son.
All right. Catch us again next week. Love you guys.
Wag more.
Barkless,
baby.